Tradies and small businesses are slowing down. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Heise Says. Got my stein of coffee and I thought we'd go through this article from ABC News about tradies and small businesses slowing down or worse conditions for them. And I can relate to that because, being an architect, I've noticed a slowdown in the sector, and I talk to people just day to day, friends, colleagues, other consultants I work with, and get a vibe for the industry. And it's definitely getting quieter, at least the first run up to the election for the year. It's picked up after then, more work's been flowing, but a lot of people have been saying, the beginning of this year has been terrible. So let's have a look at this article. Business conditions worsen for small and medium enterprises. So, small businesses in general, and tradies in particular, have suffered a serious deterioration in their trading conditions and profitability, according to a survey from NAB. And let's look at the key points here. Conditions, profit, and orders fell sharply into negative territory and are well below average this year. The NAB survey found tradies with 4 or 5 employees are among the hardest hit. Yeah, I can imagine. I can relate to that. Tradies' business conditions are seen as an important leading indicator in the economy. And I'd say architects' business conditions are a leading indicator of tradies' business conditions. The drop-off for small and medium enterprises was far sharper in the second quarter than for the big end of town, which was reported in NAB's broader business survey. SMEs, small to medium enterprise businesses, business conditions deteriorated further in the second quarter and are now negative and well below trend. The survey also found the deterioration occurred across all firm sizes and across most states and industries. Not surprisingly, the conditions are weakest in the property and retail sectors. And let's just, bring up good old consumer confidence so we can see where it's heading into pessimistic territory for business and consumers. And let's just jump over here and have a look at we'll jump to the right. We'll look at this report, or just the bankruptcies in Australia, the Australian bankruptcies. So Australian bankruptcies have increased to 772 companies in May from 615 in April of 2019. So bankruptcies in Australia averaged 671 from 99 to 2019, reaching an all-time high of 1,123 companies in Feb 2012, record low of 217 companies in 1999 Jan. So you can see here, it's up, down, up, down, up, down. So we'll have to see how the conditions prevail and just keep track of this. But we'll look here, we'll zoom out to max, and you can see here just the rate of bankruptcies. It really is a depressing sign, actually, seeing it go up and down like that. So we'll jump back. So NAB chief economist Alan Oster described the results as sobering. But doesn't our chair or governor, of the Reserve Bank, Mr. Lowe, doesn't he want to, soak up that excess capacity in the economy for jobs? Remember, a job according to the ABS is just 1 hour a week. During the period they survey you, just 1 hour. Just 1 hour, guys. Come on, pull your finger out and go work for 1 hour to make the economy better. Because I'm sure, for the $20 or whatever you'll get for there, then you've got to pay tax and then probably other fees. Then you've got to pay to get there and get back. You may get $5. $5. The things that worry us are, 1, the things that worry us are business conditions have come down a lot. And 2, it is particularly the small end of town that has come down a lot, and that makes us nervous, Mr. Oster said. So yes, not surprised, because when you're a smaller business, you're running on a tighter budget, tighter time frames, particularly if you got there's a difference now. We, at one point, 4 or 5 employees, I can relate to that. When you're at that size, I think we had more at one stage. We had a lot of part-timers, and it was a nightmare. I'd never do that again. But when you have that many employees, that's a headache. That many people to keep moving, that many people to keep occupied. You're out there winning work just to keep them going before you even make a profit. So before your mortgage gets paid, before your family gets fed, you've got to bring work in to keep your team going. And that's what a lot of people who don't realize, who haven't experienced the joys of running a small business. It's kind of why I like the fact that we've scaled back to just the wife and I. It's much less capacity to turn money through the business, but much less stress, phenomenally less stress, honestly. So it's the trades, and they tend to lead the economy, and that's not a good sign. Yes, it's not. Particularly when the government pushes housing as their preferred method of economic stimulation. The quarter SME survey is separate from NAB's major survey and breaks the sector into three groups: low tier turnover of 2 to 3 million, mid tier turnover of 3 to 5 million, and high tier turnover of 5 to 10 million. So you can see their business conditions, 2009 going up, and then boom, down after the GFC, back up again, up, bam! Look at that fall. Look at that fall. Here we go, and here's why. Multi-units has really dried up. Business conditions for tradies seem to depend heavily on where and in which sector they mainly work. The ABC spoke with electrician Ray Sheffer earlier this year about conditions in the Sydney building sector. Despite talks of a turnaround in housing prices in the city, Mr. Sheriff said not much has changed yet in demand for electricians. Multi-unit domestics has really dried up, he observed. I've had mates, tradies, who prefer doing the commercial work than the multi-unit stuff because it's just a nightmare. The builders that are doing reasonably quality stuff has not dried up, but the run-of-the-mill has crashed. So while those who concentrate mainly on residential and especially apartments jobs struggle, Mr. Sheriff said there is still a lot of work available in commercial and infrastructure. But the thing is, you can't... Okay, there's similarities between the sectors, between res, multi-res, and commercial. Sure, you can jump between them, but it's not as easy as people think. Commercial, it's got a few complexities to it. The big guys are flat out with infrastructure, he told ABC News. A lot of the guys that used to do multi-unit residential are now trying to price to do commercial, he said, adding that many of them were not up to the high quality work demanded by large business clients. There you go. As for his own business, which employs 9 electricians and 4 apprentices, Mr. Sheriff said his diversification between commercial and residential was keeping work flowing in. Yeah, my Sparky mate, he has gone into the maintenance as well to help keep him diverse. We're just ticking along, not settling any records. That seems to be a common thing I am hearing. So it's not all gloom. Sydney plumber Joel Surtees said his business has picked up noticeably since the federal election, and he has forward orders up to Christmas. If they all come through, would equal last year's turnover. They never will. They don't always come through, mate. You know that. Come on. The start of the year and the end of last year were terrible. Like I said, tumbleweeds rolling down the street, that sort of thing. But since the state election, there's been a bit of uptick. And after the federal election, we're off again. I'm optimistic. Oh, good. Good. He's got 5 employees at the plumbing business he started 8 years ago. We did a lot of commercial work. And we've now got more work orders than we've had in a long time, he said. There's now more certainty. The end of financial year capex decisions have been made and businesses are prepared to spend again. The residential market is less confident, but building a little momentum. Leading indicators are weaker. While there was a pickup in SME confidence in the aftermath of the federal election and due to expectations of lower borrowing costs, Mr. Oster said the most recent monthly survey showed confidence has unwinded again. Yeah, yes it has. We don't think this higher confidence will persist with conditions so low and forward indicators pulling back further, he said. Yeah, it really does feel like just an uptick from the federal election. I think everyone was just relieved we didn't get shortened. I think that's what it is. Worryingly for the future, most lead indicators are weaker. Forward orders are negative. There you go. While expected business conditions and business investment on a 3-month horizon have pulled back, alongside a decline in capacity utilization. Sales and trading continue to be the largest constraints on firm output. That is, demand for their products is weak, and this is reflected in pressure on margins, with costs growth continuing to outpace the growth of final product prices, Mr. Oster said. Lower rates, not higher wages. There's little good news on the job front either, with a sharp drop-off in low-tier firms with turnover of 2 to 3 million and 4 to 5 employees. The employment index fell sharply and is quite negative. This suggests that sluggish demand that has been evident for some time is now feeding through to hiring decisions, Mr. Oster said. So, yeah, people are getting laid off. Or maybe they're starting to, or hours are getting cut, or people are not getting replaced. Conditions have weakened across all states over the past year, but remain most favourable in Victoria, with all the other states now in negative territory. That's surprising. Western Australia remains weakest, followed by New South Wales. So SME conditions, confidence. So there you go. Look at that. So yes, that's interesting to see. I can't say I'm surprised at all. It ties in with all the anecdotes and advice I've been receiving from people. What about you guys? Let us know in the comments. I know there are a lot of trades watching my content. Let us know. How's it going in your end? How has the year started? Has it just picked up again after the election, or with the financial year kicking over? Is it all gun-ho, or is it still a bit quiet? How are you planning for the future? Guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.